Hey everybody, hope you're having a great Sunday. Just want to bring you some research and analysis that I've been doing that I've come across. And again, it seems like I'm the bearer of bad news, but when I start digging into things, I find very ugly things, and I go into these rabbit holes that then show me uglier things. So I'll get right into it, and by sharing my screen. So Credit Suisse. I was talking about this a few days ago. The situation is uglier than I thought. Here, I kind of this is their SEC filings. You can basically look this for yourself on sec.gov Edgar database. Just input Credit Suisse ticker symbol, which is CS, I believe, and you get all their financials, all their annual reports, etc. For example, I've been going through their balance sheet and it's extremely ugly. They basically are preparing for a potential, I don't know if this is going to occur, but their next filings for the third quarter are going to be October 27, 2022. And their CEO is announcing that they have some upcoming news. And they're saying that they were kind of pointing out to the recent increase in their credit default swaps. Again, that investors are predicting that Credit Suisse is going to default on their interest payments, and the Credit Suisse credit default swaps have increased in dramatic price. So basically, investors are speculating that Credit Suisse is going to default, go bankrupt, not going to be able to pay their liabilities. And so I jumped into their finances, and what I've been seeing is extremely ugly. Credit Suisse themselves are preparing for something negative to happen. Why? Look over here. Provisions for credit losses. Dramatic increase. So Credit Suisse is preparing for potential increase in default or something from their loans. Because look at the increase over the years 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. Currently, provisions for credit losses are 4,209,000,000 Swiss francs. I'm not quite sure the conversion to US dollar, but you can see the dramatic increase from the previous year, from 2019, 2018, and 2017. They are allocating a lot of capital for their provisions for credit losses. So they are basically saying that they are assuming a defensive stance because something might occur. Otherwise, why have this increase here? And I kind of noted here, that's very bad sign. Let me get rid of this right here. Net income loss. They have sustained big loss their last filings, which is let me swap to the notes. So they have sustained a loss, which converted to US dollar of 1,635,599,000. And yeah, that's pretty brutal loss. So yeah, their balance sheet looks horrific when you start digging into it and digging into all the numbers. So I've kind of compiled all the information from the balance sheet or from their filings onto a note to make it easier for me to view. And again, I was doing some digging, and I heard about this last year, the implosion of Archegos Capital Management, which was a family office ran by a guy named Bill Huang, who was basically using leverage throughout majority of like between 2009 all the way up to like 2021. He was using leverage in tech stocks to basically build his fortune, and it worked out for him for the most part, except in March 26, 2021, he lost his whole fortune, $20 billion, in a span of 2 days. And that was because he was investing heavily in a company called Viacom CBS. And Viacom CBS on March 22nd announced that they were going to sell $3 billion worth of stock to finance some kind of a streaming service. And that caused the stock to tank 23% 2 days after the stock's sale. And that caused a margin call on Bill Huang that completely annihilated him. And why is this important? Because it involves Credit Suisse. And Credit Suisse loaned tons of money to Bill Huang and his Archegos Capital Management. And Credit Suisse lost $5.5 billion in the process. Nomura, a Japanese bank, lost $2.5 billion in the process. Wells Fargo was involved. Deutsche Bank was involved. Goldman Sachs was involved in this charade. You can kind of see where all this stems. It's a mess. Credit Suisse is a massive, massive European bank. It has $1.6 trillion under management, and it's involved globally. So it's a systematic bank, meaning if Credit Suisse were to fail, it's a systematic failure because it's entwined with all kinds of global institutions. They manage pension funds, they manage government funds, they manage money for wealthy individuals. Kind of give you a detail of what Credit Suisse actually does. They do wealth management, investment banking, asset management. They're extremely involved in the financial markets. And if you go back to 2008, along with Lehman Brothers, Credit Suisse was involved in the spark that caused the 2008 financial crisis. So again, October 27th kind of looks like a scary date because supposedly some news is supposed to come from the CEO saying that all is good and all that. All is not good based off of you dig into what's going on with the actual company. Is pretty scary. And again, it's scary that they were one of the catalysts that created or sparked the 2008 panic, along with Lehman Brothers filing for bankruptcy. So I'm curious if on Thursday, October 27, 2022, the CEO is going to announce some sort of restructuring. Restructuring is basically a fluffy word or an obscure word instead of saying bankruptcy, but is in a way almost technically the same thing. And if Credit Suisse were to announce for bankruptcy, which we're already seeing their credit default swaps exploding as investors are predicting that Credit Suisse is going to default, what kind of systematic failure might that create? I don't know. Again, Credit Suisse is a massive investment bank that has influence in the global financial market in Europe, Latin America, Asia, the US. They manage government pensions. They manage all kinds of different investments. They're involved. They're deeply involved in the financial markets. They have been basically the last couple of years or have been pretty brutal to Credit Suisse. They've not only lost money through the Archegos Capital charade, they can currency risk. Again, that's why I keep bringing up US dollar going up. Ugly situation for the global markets. The global markets do not like a strong US dollar. They're involved in the real estate sector. Credit Suisse is. They sell mortgage-backed securities, residential mortgage-backed securities, and commercial mortgage-backed securities. They manage a lot of pension fund money. So unfortunately, this is going to hit a lot of people's retirements and potentially wiping out people's retirement if the case that they file for bankruptcy or restructuring and cause some sort of panic, which most likely is going to lead to that being as the fact that, again, their credit default swaps are increasing in price. So everywhere I look is just a mess. They have a lot of legal issues going on. They're involved with they've lost a ton of money again through the real estate sector that has collapsed in China, through SoftBank and other companies. They're even involved with political officials. Where is that here? Okay, so yeah, Credit Suisse says Green Hill Capital recover will cost clients 291 million, 10 billion losses from supply chain finance funds. It's set up with Greensill. They have collected 7.3 billion. However, 2.2 billion will not be recovered. And that 2 billion that will not be recovered is due to where is it? Loans that they have given out to certain institutions or companies like Sanjeev Gupta's AGFG Alliance, US Mining Business Bluestone Resources, and SoftBank, which is a large Chinese bank. Construction company Katera, which was one of the real estate developers or companies that imploded in the recent Chinese real estate market crash, or whatever you call that charade. This was interesting to me that I came across. Credit Suisse signed an agreement last month with Bluestone to start recovering part of the 690 million that the group owned by West Virginia government Jim Justice owes to the Swiss bank's clients. So this even involves political governors. And the West Virginia governor Jim Justice is involved in this. This is a mess. Like, you dig into this, is like a rabbit hole of just uglier and uglier and uglier news, which is kind of scary. Again, all this information that I compiled here on my notes basically comes from the SEC filings, which I'll post a link on the video for. So insiders hold no ownership in Credit Suisse. That's a negative thing. They might say pretty things about the company, but if you don't own part of the company and you're the CEO, what does that say of what you think of the actual company? So yeah, interesting date would be October 27, 2022, third quarterly results for Credit Suisse, and the CEO has some news to announce. I'm curious if that news is going to be a potential restructuring, which is, again, a fluffy word to use instead of using bankruptcy. But yeah, as I've gone through Credit Suisse filings, which is a lot of paperwork and numbers, doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. They have sustained massive losses recently in their most recent financial statements. It just doesn't look good, and they're preparing for some kind of potential storm that is coming. This number here that you can see is increasing. Why are they allocating so much money for potential credit losses? Are they foreseeing something is going to occur? I don't know, but it seems that way. And another ugly thing, I keep saying currency risk. The market does not like the US dollar going up. If you could go back here, it's .com bubble burst. The US dollar peaked during the time the .com bubble and the markets were selling off because the dollar was just skyrocketing it up. Go now to today's date. Dollar is skyrocketing it up. It's like all these signs are popping up. Again, keep an eye out, protect yourselves, because it seems like we're heading into not a recession. We are in a recession, a potential global depression. And at least that's what I'm seeing. And through my research, I'm coming across a lot of negative things. So I guess you tell me what you think. And if you have any information you want to share with me, feel free to shoot it my way. I'm always curious to see what else is going on there. Maybe I'm missing some things. So yeah, just wanted to bring that information to you, and hopefully it'll be of value and be some use to you. So all right, I'll see you guys soon, and thank you for watching. And I'll leave a link below for the video explaining exactly what occurred with Bill Hwang and Archegos Capital Collapse last year. which is crazy to me that this, for the most part, has been brushed under the rug, and it wasn't really a big news story, considering it was linked to a lot of massive financial institutions. But hey, what can you do, right? All right, so I'll see you guys.